Welcome to the Saul's Newsstand News Rewind for October 1st, 2021. The Hill reports, Voodoo Math. Media mostly fails to challenge Biden's $0 cost infrastructure. President Biden insulted the intelligence of sober, sane Americans by claiming on Twitter that $3.5 trillion in new spending via an infrastructure bill in which most of the money allocated does not go toward improving roads, rail lines, bridges, power grids, or other actual infrastructure, costs $0. The tweet read, quote, "My Build Back Better agenda costs $0. Instead of wasting money on tax breaks, loopholes, and tax evasion for big corporations and the wealthy, we can make a once-in-a-generation investment in working America." And it adds $0 to the national debt. Nancy Pelosi repeated the claim later in the week.
So again, the Senate and the House, those who are not in full agreement with the president's right, let's see what our value, let's not talk about numbers and dollars, let's talk about values. It's not about a dollar amount. The dollar amount, as the president said, is zero. This bill will be paid for.
However, according to the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget, a nonpartisan nonprofit organization based in Washington, the $3.5 trillion bill would call for the U.S. government to borrow $1 trillion. It also projects that approximately $3 trillion would be added to the national debt over the next decade. The CRFB further found that thanks to various accounting and budgeting gimmicks, the $3.5 trillion bill's actual cost is more in the $5.5 trillion range. An article from the Daily Caller reports, "The problem is you need 98% or 99%. George Stephanopoulos presses Pelosi on Democratic divisions." ABC anchor George Stephanopoulos pressed the House Speaker Nancy Pelosi on divisions within her party during a Sunday morning interview. Pelosi joined Stephanopoulos for a brief conversation on the program This Week, and although she touted having the support of 95% of her caucus, Stephanopoulos was quick to point out that Democrats had such slim margins in both the House and the Senate that they needed 98 to 99% in order to get anything passed without support from Republicans.
So make progress, not necessarily pass. You said you have support of 95% of Democrats. The problem is you need 98 or 99% to pass the bills. And I know you said the infrastructure bill is going to pass, but the leader of the Progressive Caucus in the House, Jamala Prayapal, is balking. She said on Friday that voting on this bill tomorrow is an arbitrary date, adding that more than 50 members will vote no if you first don't have agreement on the broader social investment bill. So are you confident these progressive members are going to vote yes, even though she says no?
Let me just say we're going to pass the bill this week. I promised that we would bring the bill to the floor. That was according to the language that those who wanted this to be brought to the floor tomorrow wrote into the rule. We will bring the bill to the floor tomorrow for consideration. But you know, I'm never bringing a bill to the floor that doesn't have the votes.
Pelosi went on to say that there were a few who still disagreed, in particular with the size of the package that had been put forth, but that she respected their opinions and judgment and was working to find common ground. And finally, the Associated Press reports, Dollar Tree breaks the $1 barrier as costs take a bite. Dollar Tree has embedded in its very name what it stands for. Behind these doors, everything can be bought for just $1. The mantra to which the Chesapeake, Virginia company has held true for decades will now be only mostly true. Dollar Tree is breaking the mold and will sell items in some locations that exceed the tantalizing $1 grab-and-go price. The company had already begun testing higher prices at several hundred of its nearly 8,000 locations in a section of the store called Dollar Tree Plus, with items that can go for as much as $5. Items that can go for $1.25 to $1.50 will soon be found in the mix at some locations amid the typical assortment of $1 products. Raising some prices will certainly give the national chain some flexibility and likely more variety on its shelves. But $1 this year will not buy you what it did in 2020. Annual inflation in the United States reached 4.2% in July, the highest in 3 decades. During an appearance before Congress, Fed Chair Jerome Powell said that price increases have worsened amid snarled supply chains and rising labor costs. And that concludes your Saul's Newsstand News Rewind for October 1st, 2021. For more political news faster, visit saulsnews.com.